Welcome back to the Sleep Prep Guys channel, everyone. For today's video, we will be looking into a substantive dive into the 2025 January Social Studies past papers. As I said before, we will only be able to look into one video per week due to regulatory regulations that I have to adhere to CSEC purposes. But this is January 2025 past papers. Without further ado, let's begin. So the first question what was on the list, this is section A, and you need to answer all four questions in this section, which is on individual, family, and society. So the first term that you need to know, it says here, define the term bigamy. Bigamy, in its most simplistic of sense, means you going into a marriage while already being legally married. Um, that's what bigamy means in its literal sense. And to make it more substantive and simplistic for you to understand, if we have John, and John is married to Alicia, and John wants to be married to, um, and and John now wants to get remarried, not remarried, he wants to get married again, even though he is already married to Alexia. So he gets married to Alexia while still being married to Alicia. So that's what bigamy means in its most simplistic of sense. So for the second one, it says explain the difference between legal separation and divorce. Legal separation is the act of separation of two partners without any repercussions, i.e., they are still together but have to separate for a moment of time. While on the other hand, to correct this, while on the other hand, divorce is the act of breaking the vow of marriage and actually legally, through legal procedures, breaking up the marriage in its entirety. Let's now look into two functions of the family. Two functions of the family includes emotional support, and if you want to be more simplistic, it could also be implemented into psychological support. It could be emotional support, psychological support. It could differ depending on your ideologies. You could use both. You will still have your required marks. So emotional support refers to the ability of parents to support their children in emotional difficulties. Emotion in itself could be a piece of wealth. So, emotional support in its sense is providing some sense of comfort in times of emotional instability. This is especially prevalent among children within the ages of 16 to 17 or 16 to 18, where their minds are constantly changing. So, another function of the family is socializing or socialization. These include teaching children how they should live in life, how should they operate, how should they interact in society. That's what socialization in its entirety simply means. So for this one, it says Mara and Sinji have been married for 2 years and are expecting their first child. It says I suggest three actions that they should take as they prepare for adulthood, and it says explain why each action suggested in CI is most likely to be a successor. From this space provided, we only have enough room for one action. And one action that could be implemented is parental planning. This is the process whereby the two persons in a relationship plan on the drastic actions that should be implemented before the child is born. For instance, source of financing and adequate education on child maintenance are some things that are included in this process. We need to figure out how much money do we need to support this child in whatever needs they have. Should we have a house, or should we invest in this area? Should we develop this segment before we get this child? And parental planning is one of the most suggested aspects of parenting before you have a child. It is highly suggested. And When you don't do parental planning, you're at a very major disadvantage when it comes to parental process. Moving on to explanation one. This process is likely to be effective due to the fact that it assists parents in having a prerequisite plan for what and how they should initially approach parenting. Furthermore, this is one of the most likely suggestive incentives that should be implemented in order to promote parental stability in a family. Without parental planning, it could lead to parental instability, where the two parties are constantly arguing because they have no structure in how they should maintain a child. So let's go on to the term formal group. It says define the term formal group. So for everyone watching out there who have done the sitting in January CSEC 2025 for our social studies syllabus, please type in the comments below and tell me how you did, whether you did good or bad. It's nothing to everybody has their days. But just tell me how was it? How was it in your opinions? For me, it was from looking through it. This took me like 10 minutes to do out. It was extremely easy, not hard in any sense. It was very simplistic. With the inclusion of the LGBTQ being added to the syllabus, which will make it a bit not too difficult, but it will make it more complicated because the LGBTQ plus incentive rights or activism is never substantive, meaning that it does not stand particularly. It is very constantly changing every single second of the day. And new content is always being added to it. So I don't know how CSEC will approach it. And first of all, I hate the fact that they did include it. And for you guys out there who have written CSEC 2025 January 4th, just type in the comments and just say we hate it, we don't want it in the syllabus because honestly I don't want it in the syllabus. And a lot of teachers would agree with me. Define the term formal group. A formal group is a group of persons who are usually confined to a set of laws and principles that bind them together in a homogeneous manner, meaning that they all, for example, they wear the same clothes. If you are a student at some school, particularly within Guyana, the Caribbean, UWI, University of West Indies, you have to wear a particular clothes, you have to follow particular regulations, and usually within these formal groups, there's a set of rewards and also there's a set of sanctions. You are usually you're usually rewarded for excellence in your particular subject areas and your endeavors. You do in a particular sport extremely well, you will be rewarded a trophy. If you are a good debater in your school, you will be rewarded, obviously. So for question I of 2, it says outline one difference between a primary group and a secondary group. So a primary group refers to those persons that you have known for ages. You are not usually linked by a common interest. These include people's like your families and people you are extremely close with. While on the other hand, a secondary group is a group of persons brought together, brought about by similar interests. This could be in a sport, this could be in a hobby. All of you share similar interests. All right, for B, it says describe two likely causes of conflicts within social groups. Differentiated opinion. I might like something, you might not like it. We disagree, and the disagreement could turn into a very big conflict that could escalate quite quickly. For example, if I am about to if I want to do something and you do not want to do it, but we have to do it, we could disagree. And that could cause and that could create tension, which in turn could lead to drastic conflict. And we have unclear or unfair expectations. Like for example, within particular school, the standards of a student is extremely high. Students in itself or students in their own common sense could be say, yo, this is unfair. We don't want this. This is very difficile or difficult. So in sense, this could create conflict among students and it could create conflicts among students and teachers and even the Ministry of Education in respective countries. So moving on to C, it says Abiola is the leader of the student council at the school. It says I. Suggest three actions that Abiola may take to improve cohesion within the group. Explain why each action suggested in CI is likely to be successful. And one way you could do this is through promoting programs that that caters to the interest of everyone. A good example of this is sports. Everybody's interested in sports. This is likely to be effective due to its relevance to schools, social development, and generally excitement it's bringing to the table. Since everybody will want to do it, we have to find some sports, some activity that will cater for the needs and desire, and most of all, the fun of everyone within the group. Something that everyone likes, like probably playing soccer, playing cricket. It depends on your cultural diversity. Moving on, it says for this is sustainable development and use of resources. This is part one. So define the term infant mortality. Infant mortality is the average birth of children within a period of time. It also includes the health of a child as well as their development. So this is the amount of children born within a particular amount of time. Very simple. And guys, to be simple, just to be honest, this is a very easy paper. This was very, very simplistic. Easy grade one. Easy pass rate. Nothing too difficult. You shouldn't really have a lot of issues when it comes down to this. Identify two sources that could provide population statistics for our countries. We know that the census is one obvious way of doing it, and usually most countries utilize the census. And secondly, we have surveys, which in itself is quite effective when we have to assess the particular needs of society. A survey could be conducted to figure out the average amount of persons or the ratio of persons who are employed to the amount of ratios of persons who are unemployed. This gives the government an understanding of how should they reinvest their financing ability into the economy, or whether they should improve a particular sector within an economy. All right, see, outline two factors which might affect the population distribution within a country. One way is birth rate and death rate. If you want an additional note on this, another thing could be migration. With the migration dash mean brain drain could be one of the few reasons or the three things that contribute to population distribution within an economy. So these two are two excellent ones that you could utilize. There are other factors, but we'll not go into all of that right now. This was a very easy question, straightforward. Don't overthink it, guys. Just take it with the flow. It's moving on to question DI. Suggest three ways in which population statistics might assist a government in addressing the needs of a community. Explain why each way suggested in DI is likely to be successful. So it gives the government a better understanding in their roles to the citizens. As I said before, if you are conducting a survey, you might probably conduct a survey to figure out the particular needs of society. And this contributes to the government implementing different legislative laws that can be implemented with the census and surveys. The government is more likely to have a better understanding of what the citizens of a country personally needs, or even has the country as a whole. And that's why we do censuses and that's why we do surveys. And how is it likely to be successful? That's a big question that I will be answering now. This is likely to be successful due to the information gathering mechanisms of censuses and surveys, giving the government a general update to overall economical mechanisms. For instance, a survey can give a general update on the increased death rate, thus highlighting the importance of the healthcare system and developments that needs to take place. So that's some things to take into consideration. So this is the I think is the last part. No, not last part. Yeah, this is the last part. You only need to answer one of these. I suggest you need to answer one. So we will keep it very short. So just give me a couple of seconds. I can get this thing in order. So it says here, write an essay on the topic above. In your essay, define the term regional integration, explain the difference between a developing country and developed country, describe two challenges which CARICOM countries face, suggest three ways in which the CSME might address some of the challenges experienced by CARICOM countries, explain why each country is likely to be successful. Something that I forgot to highlight. Give me a second, guys. Wait, just give me a second. It says describe two challenge. Wait, not this one. Suggest three ways in which CSE manages. Well, we answered that. Explain the difference between a developed country and a developed country. Yes, I think highlighted that within it. Yes, we're okay. So the idea of regional integration into economies are one of the best ideas that were generated over the last century. The process by which countries come together to form a single union is one of the best ways to protect our national sovereignty. Let me just explain this in simple terms. Regional integration, in its most simple sense, is the generation of a single market economy with countries of similar status and mobility in order to promote regional development and increase standard of living. To begin, with the introduction of Caribbean Single Market Economy (CSME), has allowed us third world countries to drastically develop at faster rates, since the idea of trade liberalization is prevalent in these economies. Moreover, the incentive of similar policies in these economies that can work together to improve standard of living in their respective countries. Secondly, while regional integration is effective, there have been differences in terms of their development status, such as the idea of trade between countries and these markets. That is evident in the fact that some members in the CSME are more developed than others. And thus, to trade goods with a less developed economy won't be effective, thus highlighting a major challenge faced by economies, by CSME. Anyways, that is everything, guys. Um, on a later video, I will write a more detailed essay on this. It will be a very short one, 2 minutes, but I will write a more detailed explanation for this one. It isn't really elaborated a lot on, but we will do a very detailed um, essay on this later. But for now, this is everything for the study prep guy. For everyone who has written the CSEC 2025, please write in the comments below how was your experience. Anyways, it's nice to be back with you guys. Please subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before year end 2026. Subscribe, guys. See you later. Enjoy your day.